Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to another video. And I wanted to go ahead and take a deeper look at Netflix stock and see what we can find here. Is this an investable company? Should we consider starting a position, or is there just too much risk? And so I know I made a video earlier, but I wanted to go ahead and dig a little deeper because they did release an entire letter to shareholders. And so I just wanted to go ahead and talk about that. Let's also remember that Netflix is a FANG stock. So it's crazy to see a FANG stock drop this low. But here we are. So let me turn my screen record on. And this video is going to be short. I saw a lot of Netflix videos on YouTube, and they're all like 45 minutes, and nothing wrong with that. Shout out to those people. But I know that not everybody has enough time to watch a 45-minute video. So I try to keep my videos fairly short. So here we go. Turn my screen record on. We're going to go ahead and go over this letter. So first they start off by saying, fellow shareholders, our revenue growth has slowed considerably as our results and forecasts below show. That's a terrible way to start off a letter, but hey, I like that Netflix is not beating around the bush. They're telling you guys like it is. I like that. Streaming is winning over linear as we predicted. And Netflix titles are very popular globally. However, our relatively high household penetration, which including the large number of households sharing accounts combined with competition, is creating revenue growth headwinds. The big COVID boost to streaming obscured the picture until recently. I'm glad they included this because I think everybody knows this. They got a huge boost due to COVID, and that did hurt them, unfortunately, because that huge boost that they got from COVID is gone, While we work to re-accelerate our revenue growth, though, improvements to our services and more effective monetization of multi-health sharing will be holding our operating margin at around 20%. Key to our success has been our ability to create amazing entertainment from all around the world, present in a highly personalized ways, blah, 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 blah. Together with our strong profitability, we believe we have the foundation from which we can both significantly improve and better monetize. Okay. Netflix. Guys, everybody, let me tell you what's going on here. So I like what they said, right? That's cool. It's good that they're being honest. It's good that they're acknowledging some of the problems with the company. But let me say this. There's a big problem with this company that a lot of people are not taking into account, right? So full disclosure, I guess background into my life, I watch anime. I like anime. It is what it is, right? When I watch anime, they only release one episode every week. So I have to stay subscribed to the subscription service, which is Crunchyroll, in order to watch my animes because they don't release the entire season at once. They only do one episode. Disney Plus, I have Disney Plus. It's the same thing. When I'm watching The Mandalorian or the Boba Fett series, it's one episode a week, which is actually really smart and a great way to keep subscribers. Netflix does the opposite. Netflix releases entire series at once, which I never understood why they do that from a business perspective because it's just not smart. Once people have finished all their shows, they don't need the platform anymore. They're going to go somewhere else. They're going to go to YouTube. They're going to go to Disney. I don't know. They're going to go somewhere else. Amazon, whatever. That's just what happens. So I never understood why Netflix didn't do that. That's number one. Number two, the password sharing. We've known about this for years. Literally, I remember I was using my mom's password back in college, and that was back in freaking 2018. That was 4 years ago that I was using my family member's password for Netflix, and here we are 4 years later, and we're still having this same issue. Like, that is a problem. So Netflix needs to fix that too. And I think some of this is on management. You should have been figured out password sharing. You should have been figured out that you're losing a crap ton of money because people are sharing passwords and you haven't figured out how to stop that, which you would think wouldn't be that hard to figure out how to stop, right? But anyway, I don't want to ramble, so let me go to something else, right? So we scroll down. They give a bunch of reasons. They say growth outlook, and then they have a first, second, third, and I think a fourth. Yeah, fourth hiding over here. They've got a fourth. Now, I read all of this. We're not going to go over all of this because it's long and it's going to be boring. So what I'm going to do is to not make this so boring, I am going to shorten what they said for you guys. So they gave 4 reasons for the slowdown of their company in 4 short paragraphs. And what they said was basically that people are not, they attributed the reasons for the slowdown to 1, people not having compatible devices and internet, 2, password sharing, which their fault, 3, competition, And 4, the very broad category of world issues happening in the world. So those were things like Russia, Ukraine, COVID, inflation. They attributed their issues to all of those different things. So that is what Netflix said. Let me scroll down. Here's something very interesting they said. So if we scroll all the way down to Q1 results and Q2 forecast, if you look right here, here's the scariest thing in this entire report, in my opinion. This is what they said. They said right here, as a reminder, the quarterly guidance we provide is our actual internal forecast at the time we report for Q2 22. We forecast paid net additions of negative 2 million versus plus 1.5 million in the year ago quarter. Our forecast assumes our current trends persist, such as slow acquisition and near-term impact of price changes, plus typical seasonality. Q2 paid net ads are usually less than Q1, blah, blah, blah. We project revenue to grow approximately 10% year over year in Q2, assuming roughly mid to high single digit year over year. It's not good at all. So Netflix is telling you that they project that they will lose another 2 million more subs in the next quarter. Ooh, that's not good. That's not good. Now, let me give some optimism now. And let me just say, I'm not spreading FUD. I'm reading the letter. This is what they said in the letter, okay? So we got to be honest here. You always got to outline the risk for this company. So they've got some risk, right? But here's the good news. The stock is now down 62% for the year, okay? So what does it come down to? It comes down to this. One, do you think that everything they said in the letter is priced in? I don't. I really don't. I don't think everything that's happening in the letter is priced in. I think the market is going to take a few days or weeks to digest that. Maybe a few days. I think the market's going to take a few days to digest that. And then we could see Netflix begin to move lower. We could see Netflix go to the 220s, 220 range. Could see it go lower. Dare I say, I know it sounds crazy, but dare I say, ladies and gentlemen, it is possible that you could see Netflix go under $200. It could happen. I don't know. What do I personally plan to do? I did say that in the next video. My point still stands. I am 100% buying this company because I believe in them. I believe in management. At the end of the day, Netflix does have 222 million members, I guess, subscribers, whatever, in their platform. That's pretty outstanding. Now, here's where it gets scary. If the growth starts to slow down, which is what we're seeing significantly, Netflix could become a value stock. And value stocks are good, but it's not good for a company like this, especially for how high it's valued at. What is it traded like 23 times sales or something like that? Revenue, it trades like 23 times revenue, like something like that. So you do not want Netflix to become a value stock. You want it to continue growing. And they did say in a letter they project that they will continue to grow. It just won't be in the United States. They projected their growth will take place outside of the United States. So these are important things to keep in mind. So like I said, for me, I am going to wait to see where it settles at. I have no idea where this thing is going to go. I'm just giving you guys price points. It could go under $200. It could go to $220 and just sit there. It could sit here at $250, $260 and sit there. I don't know, but I am letting this thing cool off for a few days. If you want my honest opinion, I think this is too big of a company. Their management is just too smart, too brilliant to not figure this out. They're going to figure this out. I don't know why they didn't figure out the password sharing thing. That is very weird to me. But one thing I do honestly believe is they're going to figure this out. Let me tell you guys one more other thing, right? Here's what I think is going to happen. I think this is going to be Facebook 2.0. And once again, I am admitting that I was wrong on Facebook. I messed up on Facebook. Facebook was a huge buying opportunity when it dropped. I didn't take advantage. I'm not going to make that mistake with Netflix, okay? Facebook dropped huge. Few more days later, dropped again, kept going down, and then it eventually recovered once all the FUD went away and people started to realize, holy cow, even though Facebook had a drop in users, whatever they had, people said at the end of the day, it's still Facebook and they still have Mark Zuckerberg. Netflix, I see the same thing playing out. So listen carefully. I see this thing dropping even further than it already has. It could continue to drop for a few weeks. It could take some time. But eventually this thing is going to bottom out. And once it bottom out, bottoms out, the buyers are going to come in. And this thing is going to have a nice little bounce. So believe it or not, I'm not a trader. I'm a long-term investor. But for my traders out here, there is a real opportunity to trade this stock. There is. It's going to pull a Facebook. It's going to bottom out. It's going to find a spot to bottom out. And then it's just going to start to rise again, just like Facebook. I can see it. Because at the end of the day, people are going to realize this is Netflix. And eventually the selling is just going to get ridiculous. And people are going to say, all right, this has gotten ridiculous. And then the big boys are gonna come in and just start slapping money down. Like, all right, $1 million shares here, a million, 100,000 shares here. The big boys are gonna come in and start buying the stock. That's what I honestly believe is going to happen. But I'm not trading it. I plan to buy Netflix because, one, I love the company. Two, it's the biggest streaming company in my opinion. They're huge. I mean, Disney's eventually gonna pass them. Let me make that very clear. Disney has everything. Hulu, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus. Disney will eventually pass Netflix. You heard it here first. It's coming. It's going to happen. Disney just has too much great content. Star Wars and all the kid shows. Disney will pass them. But it's going to be a long time before Disney passes them. And Netflix is definitely going to be a dominant player. And I do not see everything going on destroying them. First of all, if they can figure out password sharing alone, that can save them a pretty decent amount. That can create more subscribers potentially, and it can also create more revenue for the company. So I definitely think that in terms of competition, I don't think there's anything you could do about that. I think the headwind we see coming is if more competition starts to come in, which could happen. We could see even more players step into streaming. It could happen. In terms of the broad issues they said, like Russia, Ukraine, that'll eventually come to an end. COVID, pretty much over. Inflation, that'll start to come down. I definitely think Netflix will be okay with that. Now, unfortunately, there is another segment to this. I believe that people are choosing to not spend money on non-essentials like Netflix. I think there's a segment to that because of inflation. I think inflation has killed households so much. They're like, well, hell, if I got to choose between buying food and getting gas and getting a Netflix subscription, I'm going to get rid of my Netflix subscription. And I think you're seeing some of that too. So I think there is some upside for Netflix. However, it's going to be some time before you start to see that upside. So that's why I say I would be very patient with this stock before you buy. And so I'm already at 12 minutes. This video is already long enough. So I think I've said enough. I think you guys get the point. And so there you guys have it. Those are my full thoughts on Netflix. There you have it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video.